The 2024 Tacoma Community Survey is being conducted during spring and early summer of 2024. Results tentatively will be published in August of 2024 as well. The survey is an opportunity to identify which services and issues residents feel are important, which service areas have improved over time, and which service areas could improve in the future. With me today is Jacques Colon, Chief Strategy Officer with the City of Tacoma. Jacques, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So Jacques, let's start out with our first question. What is this year's survey all about?
Yeah, so the community survey is really all about everything. It's one of the few opportunities we have to ask the community about how they're feeling about the city in general, about particular services, and really it's a way for us to better understand how are the things that the city is doing either meeting the community's needs or not, both of which are extremely important for figuring out how we provide the best programs and services to the community.
Absolutely. And so when and how will the survey be conducted, and is the community survey an annual thing?
Great question. I'll start with the second part first.
Okay.
It is not annual, it's every other year. So we try to do this every 2 years, and that's to give us enough time to be able to see how things are changing over time. And also enough time for any changes that we're creating for the city to take effect and really get a sense of, are they meeting the mark or are they not? So every 2 years is the answer to that question. It'll be done in multiple ways. The primary way will be through the mail. So there's a randomized group of people that have been selected for this that will receive a packet in the mail. And if you do receive that packet, just know it's not junk mail. We really are conducting a community survey to get residents' experiences and reactions to different programs and services. And so again, if you get that in the mail, please take that. That's the primary way that this is going to be sent out. And then there will be online ways to do it as well. So if you receive the mailer, but you prefer doing it online, there will be a QR code included on that. And so folks will have the opportunity to take that survey online as well.
Jacques, based on prior surveys, what type of responses do you hope to get?
So there's no one answer to this. There are many different responses that are helpful to us. Yes. One of the big things that we're working on right now that I'll give you as an example is the Community Safety Action Strategy. And this is the city's approach to creating a coordinated response to perceptions of safety. Mm-hmm. This started because many years ago, we started to see a pattern in terms of perceptions of safety, which is one of the questions on the survey. Mm-hmm. And we noticed that perceptions of safety were not equitable across the city. They really differed based on where you lived in the city, mm-hmm. and also who you were and how you identified. And so because of that, we've been on this journey of trying to address the different reasons why perceptions of safety are different through this coordinated response in the Community Safety Action Strategy. So that's just one example with one question of perceptions of safety. But there are a ton of questions that influence different programs and services. For example, there are questions about how satisfied you are with your garbage pickup, for example, right? So that informs our environmental services team about what's working, what's not working. Right. Same thing for roads, same things for social services, right? So all these different things that the city tries to do to try to help, provide the community with what their needs are. We want to know how we're doing, and the survey gives us an opportunity to ask the broad questions about how that's going, but also hone in on all these different specific services so that we can see, hey, this isn't working for folks for these reasons. Let's think about how we can do things differently to really meet the need.
And so this next question, I think it's a pretty clear-cut answer, and you've kind of spoken on that, but how important is Tacoma's community survey? And then what past results were adopted based on the finding?
So this is so important because as a city, we have all these different programs and services that we have, right? And the community, we have 225,000 plus people, right? Each with, unique needs. And so as a city, it's so crucial that we are constantly checking in not just with the community, but with different parts of the community. And so we do that in a lot of different ways. For those folks that are really interested in how the city is growing and developing, we've engaged with folks around home in Tacoma and that process quite a bit. But that doesn't necessarily give us the full picture of a representative sample of the city in all these different programs and areas. So in addition to constantly asking folks, you know, how is this particular initiative meeting your vision for the future? The community survey is unique in that it allows us to sort of take a step back, really get a full view of the city because it is representative, and I'm happy to say more about what that means if that's interesting. But to really understand across geographies, across demographics, how are all of these different programs and services either meeting the mark or not. So in that way, it's one of the best tools that we have for really informing the city in terms of how our programs and services are doing. So incredibly important for that reason.
And when the survey results come in, who receives those findings? Who gets those findings, and how will they be used?
Yeah. So the findings are taken by my office, the Office of Strategy. We're running the community survey. Once those results are packaged, they're immediately shared with leadership, the city manager, and our executive team, as well as we will have a study session once those results are public with the council, because obviously the city council should be given that information as soon as possible in terms of what are we hearing from your constituents, what's coming up in the survey that you as council members should know when you're making policy and directing us as staff in terms of what our priorities need to be. So that's the goal, is that really this should be informing everything that the city does, from the policymaker level to the city management level. And again, this is just a great tool for all of us at the city to be able to check in with our community and understand how everything that we're doing, how is everything that we're doing meeting the expectations.
And one final quick question, Jacques. What and who will get the survey, and what's the deadline for the submission?
So there has been a randomized selection of several thousand people. And randomized, sorry, just to go on a quick tangent here, randomized just means that a specific group of people have been selected that meet the quantitative requirements to be able to say this represents all 220,000 plus people in Tacoma based on geography, demographics, you know, things like age, et cetera, so that we know when we get these results, it's a nice overview of all of Tacoma, and we're not oversampling any particular geography or demographic.
Gotcha. And then the deadline?
And the deadline is going to be in a couple of months. So when folks receive that packet, they'll see all the information there. It's going to be starting in a few weeks, and it'll be going through June most likely. So there's a 2-month window, excuse me, for folks to answer the call.
Gotcha. Well, Jacques, we really appreciate you being here, everything that you and your team are doing, and I'm sure the community appreciates the opportunity to be a part of this survey so they can express what their needs are, what things they'd like to see changed, or whatever their concerns are. So thank you again for being here, and we hope to see you back.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all the community members in advance that are going to be helping us out with their feedback in the survey.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jacques.